Many benefits of knowing God through love, as the apostle explains to us in this text. When we express the love of God we experience, we will see so many things coming into life. I'll identify some of them. Number one, it becomes a means of examining ourselves to see whether we are still in the faith. Like Apostle Paul told the Corinthians in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourself to see whether you are in the faith. Prove yourself. Do you not know that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless you are counterfeits. If Jesus is in you, if you truly know him and are known by him, then you will love like he loved. That is plain and simple. That's one benefit. The second benefit of knowing God through love is that it becomes a Geiger-Müller counter that helps us detect radioactive Christians easily. Geiger-Müller counter is a scientific tool that is used to detect gamma radiation, so to speak. So, in that sense, we are saying that knowing God through love will help us to know Christians who are not Christians indeed. These are those who may have believed the spirit of falsehood Apostle John was talking about earlier in the chapter. If you read from verse 1 of John chapter 4 through verse 6, he addressed that problem, the spirit of falsehood. So, when we express the love of God, then those who are not genuine, those who are false, will be revealed easily. The third benefit of knowing God through love is that it becomes the strongest message we can preach in a world where movement is restricted and physical distancing is demanded. As a result of the coronavirus pandemic, there is restriction on movement, there is restriction on, contacts and entering into people's houses. But there can be no law against love. There is no such thing as love distancing. We can know God through love and show that we know God through love by the love that we show to one another. That's the strongest message we can preach today. The fourth benefit of knowing God through love is that Galatians chapter 5 verse 21 tells us that the fruit of the Spirit is love. It lists about 9 qualities, but it begins with love. How can you know that you received the Holy Spirit at baptism since you didn't have an out-of-body experience and it was not like a voice came down from heaven saying, "This is my chosen one"? No. So, how do you know that the Spirit of God is in you? The answer is love. Love of God, agape. Can you love like God loves the world? If you can do that, then surely the Spirit of God is in you. That's a benefit. The benefit is that you develop a capacity to love like God did. Another benefit, considering what is going on in the world today in recent times, is that knowing God through love provides a real antidote to racism, to prejudice, to partiality, to infightings, to wars, genocide, infanticide, homicide, suicide, and all the other sides that you can think of. Knowing God through love rids your heart of discrimination, tribalism, trying to consider a life of us versus them. No. Knowing God through love will help you to see everyone as human beings deserving of the love of God. And God has ordained you, the Christian, to love them the way He loves them. The sixth benefit I will identify is that when we know God through love, there will be no needy persons in the family of God. In Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4, we find evidences that the haves ministered to the have-nots, such that everyone in the church rose above the needy state. There is always enough for everyone's need, but never enough for everyone's greed, according to Mahatma Gandhi. Let us minister to one another's needs and show indeed that we have the love of God in us and we know God through love. The seventh and last benefit I will identify is that where there is love, everyone will strive to do what is useful with their own hands so that they can give to those who are in need. Ephesians chapter 4 tells us that let him who stole steal no more, but let him work with his hands what is useful so that he may have to give to those who are in need. There is no room for laziness in the family of God. What are you doing to increase your source of income? Apostle Paul said in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, in verse 6 and verse 10, now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you keep away from any brother who is living in idleness and not in accord with the tradition that you received from us. Verse 10, for even when we were with you, we gave you this command, if anyone will not work, let him not eat. So to prove that you know God through his love is to ensure that there is no room for laziness in the family of God. What are you doing to increase your source of income? How are you learning to increase your earning potential? Everyone is now talking about working remotely in this post-COVID-19 era. You cannot continue to claim that digital skills are not your forte. You have to strive, open up your mind and learn. Are you really too old to learn and earn? Can you communicate effectively in at least one international language? And to communicate effectively in an international language means to be able to read, write, speak, and listen in these languages. People of God are people of wisdom. The Hebrew word that is translated as wisdom, it literally translates to skill. So, what skills do you have? What skills are you learning currently? People who have the love of God in them always strive to be benefactors and not perpetual beneficiaries. So, what is the solution to the problem that has been identified? The problem of claiming to know God, yet not knowing his love. The problem of claiming to be children of God, yet teaching falsehood. The solution that the apostle of love presents here is that as someone who had seen, heard, and touched God with us, Emmanuel, he proves to us that cultivating the love of God is the only way to show that you know God and that God lives in you. To show that you know God is to cultivate. The means by which you show that you know God is when you cultivate the love of God in your life. In conclusion, we learn that John the Beloved wrote to Christians in his time to instruct them and encourage them to make their lives an expression of God's love. To know God is to express the love of God. The Christian apart from the rest of the world is their capacity to show agape, sacrificial love. The strongest and loudest message disciples of Christ can send to the world is the love of God they practice toward God himself, toward one another, toward people outside Christ, and toward their enemies. This world is in dire need of the love of God. Christians are custodians of this love. If the world is love deprived, we may as well say it is Christians deprived, pure and simple. So, what are you going to do about this? Good afternoon, everybody. I send love to you from Ile-Ife in Osun State. My name remains Daniel Ogunjimi. Thank you.